So, a fresh new week has arrived, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week, based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week, the second round of the NBA playoffs have been progressing along, and already we have quite a few surprises and notable performances worth talking about and analyzing, so we definitely have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. PrizePicks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game where you select 2 to 6 players and guess if they will hit more or less than their projection, and if you get it right, you can win. Plus, with their new Demons and Goblins lines, you can now win up to 100 times your original entry. Obviously, we're all basketball fans here, but PrizePicks has almost every sport you can think of available to choose from and play. To add to the fun, they also offer frequent bonuses, discounts, and weekly promotions, such as Taco Tuesday and Flex Friday, plus so many specialty free spaces to watch for throughout the year, so you don't want to miss those. For today's slate of games, I'm thinking of going with Donovan Mitchell to score over 29.5 points, Jayson Tatum to score fewer than 27.5 points, and I'll use the specialty free space where all Caitlin Clark needs to do is score 1 point or more in her debut for this week's lineup. To sign up, go down to the link in the description of this video and use promo code REFERENCE when you sign up to get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Nathan, and he says that the Knicks are going to be this year's version of the Atlanta Hawks. He didn't elaborate on this fully, but basically what he's implying is that, like the 2021 Atlanta Hawks run, the Knicks this year are a one-hit wonder catching lightning in a bottle, but are not built to sustain this success at the level moving forward. Immediately after the 2021 Hawks run ended, they were hyped up as the next perennial contender in the Eastern Conference, but they never made it past the first round of the playoffs since then, and this year they missed the playoffs entirely. That's a pretty bold and strong accusation to place on a New York Knicks team playing some unbelievable basketball right now, but is it wrong? Let's think about this for a second. This year's Knicks are storming onto the scene behind their incredible intensity from the opening tip, their dominance on the glass, both offensively and defensively, saving defensive possessions, and creating a ton of second chance opportunities, and their lights out shooting from 3, as they are actually the team leading the entire league in 3-point percentage during the playoffs this year. They also have the refs in their back pockets every game, which definitely helps. But no, I'm just kidding. I know I'm being salty when I say that, but in all seriousness, the Knicks have all the pieces to cause problems, and they're doing just that. There are actually a lot of similarities between this team and that 2021 Hawks team that are hard to ignore though. They both beat the Sixers en route to their deep run. I still believe the Celtics are the team to beat in the NBA, and the Knicks will have to try to take them down in the conference finals, just like the Hawks had to take down the eventual NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks that year, and they're led by a red-hot, crafty point guard getting anything they want on the court as a scorer and playmaker in Jalen Brunson, just like the Hawks were with Trae Young. The reason why it's tough to lock the Knicks into being able to keep this up year in and year out moving forward is that they're getting the absolute best out of everybody on their team, which might be at an unrealistic level. The Knicks, as I said before, were leading the NBA playoffs in 3-point shooting, but were just the 13th best 3-point shooting team in the regular season. They also have a big Julius Randle question they'll need to answer, because the Knicks are not able to play the same way they are right now when he's in the lineup, since he loves to slow things down. Plus, he has a terrible history of bad play in the playoffs. And then on top of that, there's always other teams looming to make a leap past them, like the Hawks learned. Both Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo were injured this year, which opened up the Knicks' path, and the Bucks should be bouncing back next year. The 76ers have a lot of cap space to make some big splashes this summer, and the Magic are looking like a promising young team on the rise as well. So while I can't imagine a world where the Knicks fall off as hard as Atlanta did, this might be their best chance to go all the way. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Morgan, and they say that Jayson Tatum is not a superstar. He's just been blessed with a comfortable situation with great teams around him from the day that he was drafted. This one is a take that I've kind of been leading the charge on for a while, but of course, there's a limit to how far you can push this take. Tatum is an obviously immense talent, and over the last few years, he has undoubtedly been right on the fringe of that superstar tier of talent that separates the all-star guys from the true elites. There are probably an equal number of people on both sides of the debate, and there are definitely good arguments to be made for and against his inclusion in that true superstar tier of talent in the NBA. But the one thing that I don't think there should be any pushback on is the fact that Tatum has by far the easiest job of any of the guys in that superstar range. The Celtics have consistently been so well equipped to win at a high level that Tatum gets away with his poor performances more than anyone else. This season, Jayson Tatum scored fewer than 25 points in 26 games, and in those 26 games, the Celtics still had a record of 17-9, which is a win percentage still good enough to have gotten them the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. This postseason, Tatum has just one game where he has scored more than 25 points, and the Celtics were still able to cruise by the Miami Heat and were able to comfortably win Game 1 against the Cavaliers despite Tatum scoring just 18 points. I don't know about you, but if players like Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, hell even Donovan Mitchell have off shooting nights where they only put up 18 points, their teams would get blown out. But the Celtics consistently win regardless. Every year we see fake Jayson Tatum MVP hype, and I'm sorry, but I just do not believe that Tatum is an MVP level talent yet. And yet he still gets that MVP level praise for his best performances, but with none of the slander that other elite players get during their bad performances. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Anish, and he says that the Timberwolves have proven to be the team to beat in the playoffs this year, with their showing against the Nuggets so far proving how dominant they can be. Anytime you start a series off by stealing both road games against the defending champions to go up 2-0 in a series, you're going to start to turn some heads. But let's not jump the gun quite yet. The Nuggets bounced right back and stole their first road game back in Minnesota to get the series to 2-1, and it's far from over. Even with that being said though, it's hard not to be thoroughly impressed with the Wolves right now, and buy into their ability to win the whole thing. We're watching Anthony Edwards take another huge leap forward, cementing himself as arguably the best shooting guard in the NBA. Their defense is one of the most dominant groups we've seen in recent years, and they're truly well balanced without any real exploitable weaknesses, while also having a nice mix of hungry youth and experienced veterans. They also have the size to frustrate Nikola Jokic, they have the length on the wing to guard Jamal Murray as well as anybody, and they're so in sync as a unit. If I had to put any team up to win it all right now, I think I would still lean towards the Boston Celtics, but a matchup between the Wolves and the Celtics could come down to the health of Kristaps Porzingis. If Porzingis comes back and is relatively fine, then his size is vital to stacking up with the Timberwolves, but if he's not, then honestly the Wolves may be hanging the banner this year. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.